We've learned that it was a 9-0 decision ruling that Donald Trump can be on the ballot in Colorado and other states.
I'm not confident that that will produce a result that's good for American democracy.
This is actually what I had been concerned about. I had been concerned that it should go to the Supreme Court. They would rule this way.
I'd laugh if it weren't so sad.
My next guest says Donald Trump is still an oath-breaking insurrectionist. Do you have confidence in the Supreme Court? Do you think this court is partisan?
The court itself may have overstepped.
The court went way further than it needed to go.
Our colleague Melissa Murray has called this Supreme Court the YOLO court.
The criticism of the court is that they're playing interference.
Not since Bush v. Gore have we seen a court that's had this many opportunities to interfere in the election.
The headline here is that this is a unanimous ruling, but if you scratch the surface just a little...
This is a 5-4 ruling on part of it.
This is actually a 5-4 decision.
It's 5-4.
Trump will take this, spin it, spread the misinformation, disinformation on it. So it's a win for them.
He's on the ballot and voters will vote, and he looks like he's headed to become the Republican nominee for president.
You can't save a people from themselves. If they're determined to reelect him after he organized that insurrection, then there's nothing to stop the people from doing that.
Yo, what's goody? I am Wavy. You see the left mainstream media going crazy. Today, the day right before Super Tuesday, the SCOTUS has put out their ruling on Colorado removing Trump from the ballot, ruling that, that's not happening. They tried to quote it under the insurrectionist clause, which is something that should be done through Congress. All right, but we see what's going on. All right, Joe Biden's hit up all his people around. Joe Biden and DC's hit up all their people around the country, and whoever could get on board is trying to take him off the ballot. We see it in Maine, Colorado, Illinois, I believe, and other places. And they see they can't beat the guy. All right, they're terrified. They're scrambling. He's leading. He's beating Joe Biden in all the polls. Every single week that they release, he's just gaining more and more momentum. They tried to put out all these cases, ironically, coincidentally, during the election season. During the campaigning and election year and time, they put out all these cases, and we're seeing them all fall. I don't know. Maybe there was never anything there to begin with. Maybe a lot of people got played. I don't know. But let's continue. So Supreme Court rules Trump stays on Colorado ballot. The justices ruled that the 14th Amendment did not allow states to bar the former president from the ballot. The justices gave different reasons, but the decision was unanimous. I don't care what the reasons were. All right, as long as whatever was put out, y'all put it out, it was 9-0. And let me just bring it back to the Supreme Court's the justices real quick. This right here is Ketanji Brown Jackson. She was appointed by Joe Biden. All right, so she is part of the 9-0 unanimous votes for Trump to remain on the ballot. Okay, the Supreme Court ruled on Monday that states may not bar former President Donald J. Trump from running for another term, rejecting a challenge from Colorado in his eligibility that threatened to upend the presidential race by taking him off ballots around the nation. Though the justices provided different reasons, the decision's bottom line was unanimous. All right. They're trying to go at him every way they can to wear him out physically, mentally, financially. It's all happening. And I think the Supreme Court got it right with this one, but let's continue. Okay. The Constitution makes Congress rather than the states responsible for enforcing Section 3 against the federal office holders and candidates. A state, just because you don't agree with it, and that's something that they wanted to also make a precedent, you can't do a patchwork job. Like Colorado doesn't want a person on the ballot, but New York wants a person on the ballot, but Arkansas doesn't, but Alabama does, Mississippi doesn't, California does. You can't have that. Like, there needs to be one ballot going out for the whole country with the eligible candidates. Let the people decide for themselves. But they don't want the people to have a say in it. They want Donald Trump to be off it completely because they have no other way of beating him. Let's continue.
Is whether the court had to go as far as it did. Now, the most practical result of this is that the voters will be able to vote for the candidate that they prefer. This was a critical moment for this court in history. After all of the years.
And that's what I mean by it set a precedent. You can't weaponize the court systems. You can't, and all of this to go after somebody that is beating you. And that's what's going on. Every week, those polls are dropping. The Biden administration seeing what's going on. They see that they have nothing. They have no answer for him. Biden is too sleepy. He's stumbling. He can't get off and on the stage properly. Meanwhile, Trump has energy. Even if they are almost the same age, Trump has a lot more energy than Biden.
Years we have spent in this republic, we came to a point where these states claimed that they could unilaterally bar the leading presidential candidate from ballots to prevent people from voting for Donald Trump. The court here spoke with a strong, and it appears unanimous voice, at least on the result, that that's not going to happen. That voters will vote. They'll make their own verdict, regardless of what happens in cases involving President Trump. They will cast the most important verdict of all. They will vote for the next president of the United States.
And that's all that matters. Because a lot of people are seeing it's just a show. It's just a smoke and mirrors. There's nothing really behind it. A lot of these stuff, with him being removed, or even some of the other things that are going on in the court systems, or have gone on in the court systems, where he's been ruled innocent or acquitted, or the cases have been dismissed. A lot is going on that it's just not making sense you know. But these are going to be what Trump had to say in a response to the Supreme Court's decision.
I want to start by thanking the Supreme Court for its unanimous decision today. It was a very important decision. We're very well crafted, and I think it will go a long way toward bringing our country together, which our country needs. And they worked long, they worked hard, and frankly, they worked very quickly on something that will be spoken about 100 years from now or 200 years from now. Extremely important. Essentially, you cannot take somebody out of a race because an opponent would like to have it that way. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's the leading candidate, whether it was the leading candidate or a candidate that was well down on the totem pole. You cannot take somebody out of a race. The voters can take the person out of the race very quickly, but a court shouldn't be doing that, and the Supreme Court saw that very well. And I really do believe that will be a unifying factor, because while most states...
Yeah, I mean, I hope that people start, the court system, seeing that it's going to go through the process. It might make big headlines, might make a big show. Eventually, it's going to be called out. And now, what is the public going to think about that? What does the public think about the current Supreme Court's decision? The left is on the mainstream media and the social medias. They're going crazy. All right, everyone's saying this, that, and the third. They know what's coming November, but we'll see. Like I said, Super Tuesday is tomorrow, so this is going to be Trump's or tweet out, or on his Truth platform. Big win for America, and you let me know, was it not? Do you want to see Trump's name on the ballot? Do you think he doesn't deserve to be on the ballot? He led an insurrection. He had the country divided. He was dishonest. The country wasn't in a better place than it currently is. All around. Do you think that his name should be on the ballot? He's done it the right way. Obviously, they're coming after him. There's a political agenda. The Biden administration has gone after him because they see what's going on in the polls. They see the state of the country, and the country needs a change. And a lot of people are speaking up and out against it because, I don't know. I'm interested to see whatever y'all think. Is Joe Biden the right one for this country or not? But I guess we'll see in November. But as you know, so the Supreme Court has dropped it, or has unanimously voted that he should be on the ballot, but people are still working to get his name off ballots. They say that they want to go after him federally, but isn't the Supreme Court federal? But I guess that these people think that they know better than the justices.
I am working with a number of my colleagues, including Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Eric Swalwell, to revive legislation that...
Eric Swalwell, wasn't he with a spy? Allegedly?
I am working with a number of my colleagues, including Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Eric Swalwell, to revive legislation that we had to set up a process by which we could determine that someone who committed insurrection is disqualified by Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And the House of Representatives already impeached Donald Trump for participating in insurrection by inciting it. So the House has already pronounced upon that.
So, yeah, people are still going to continue going after him, still going to continue trying their best to cause a distraction during the election season. We'll see what Americans go out and how they vote in the coming election. Now even VP Harris is incentivizing college students to register voters, through getting paid. And they have no way of beating this guy. What will happen if these college students do it and they've already indoctrinated college students, or they bring the ballots back to the colleges, and then what happens from there? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But they have no way of beating this guy. Let's hear what VP Harris has to say.
Have under the federal work study program now allows students to get paid through federal work study to register people and to be nonpartisan poll workers. As we know, this is important for a number of reasons. One, to engage our young leaders in this process and activate them in terms of their ability to strengthen our community. Have under the federal work.
They are panicking. They don't know what to do. Now they maybe this may be them attempting to look forward to the next election because they know that there's nothing that they can do now. So maybe they're just starting to look forward. I'm not sure. But, don't really have too much more to say on it. Interested to know whatever y'all think about it all. Supreme Court justices unanimously voting Trump's name to be on the Colorado ballot and ruling that a state cannot unilaterally remove someone from the ballot. It has to go through the avenues of Congress, and that's by people that were elected by the U.S. citizens. You know what I'm saying? Not just by a judge that was appointed, But either way, Trump 2024, y'all be easy and stay wavy.